I'm on a mission to replace this entire deck in just 8 days. But that will take roughly 275 deck boards that will then be cut over 800 times, and we'll need over 2,000 screws to secure them in place. And to make this more challenging, we are laying it in the chevron pattern to try and restore it to its original design from 40 years ago. Are we crazy? Now, replacing a deck of this size will cost thousands of dollars, but we'll be doing the work ourselves to keep this on a budget. And I say we because luckily, I'm not doing this alone. My dad and a small team are tackling this project together. But he's all the way in New York, which means Tony and I will be flying from Florida. And we only have 8 days to completely replace this deck before we have to go back. And little did we know, we're stepping into one of the craziest projects of our lives. After a long flight and only getting 2 hours of sleep, I finally got to see the massive job we had ahead of us. So what's your plan?
Here's the plan, okay? That side of the deck, it's okay. It has to be replaced, but we're not gonna hurt ourselves. Where it's dangerous is here.
Okay.
There are planks that are completely loose.
Ooh.
I actually fell through one here before, so this is the most dangerous part of the deck.
Okay.
So this has to get done first. Remove 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of planks, and we can start here.
Oh, not too bad.
This is the way to go.
Okay.
With this.
All right. We didn't need a lot of different tools, but the tool that made a huge difference was this fork-looking thingy here. Like, we were originally going to remove each plank with a hammer and a pry bar one by one, and that would have taken forever. But then I saw this video with someone using this tool, and it was a game changer. Some of the planks were stubborn to come out, but others would come out as my dad would say.
Como mantequilla.
Removing the boards was fairly easy, and it only took us 1 hour to remove the sections we wanted to. Now that all the planks were up, it was time to remove like a million nails, which my dad started to do with a hammer one by one. While my dad was removing a million nails, I was taking measurements to start cutting the plank that goes around the edges. Kind of warped, so I'm gonna get one. Yeah, this one. This one will work. Before we started any work, we set up our tools, anticipating that we mostly needed the miter saw and the table saw. Finally, after an hour of ripping up old wood, I cut the first board. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the edge here to have a clean cut, because this board is not long enough to go where I'm putting it, so I'm gonna butt up 2 pieces of wood. For some reason, this cut was kicking my butt because it was at an angle, but it also had to wrap around this post. Ow. It took me so long to figure out this cut that my dad took all the nails out and was ready to start the next part of the demo.
So these are the trim pieces that go in between the patterns. I'm taking them out last so I know where they go exactly.
How are we feeling at this point in the project?
I'm confident we can pull it off.
How about you, Tiffany? How are you feeling at this point in the project?
Like, once I figure out what I'm doing, I'll be on the same page as my dad. So I was trying to figure out how to do the first cut, but has me like all confused because it has angles and stuff. So I'm gonna cut a template out of cardboard and try to cut it that way. I couldn't figure out doing math, so I have to draw it out.
Good job.
While I tried to continue to cut the same piece I've been working on, my dad started demo on the back of the deck.
You okay?
Exactly where I wanted it to break.
So Tiffany, I have a question.
Yeah.
Why aren't you wearing your knee pads?
Because I'm not on my knees. I don't know what to tell you. Do you have a circular saw? I kept working on the cutout pieces for the edge, which was kind of kicking my butt, but I was getting it done. To cut it, I was using a combination of the circular saw and the jigsaw, but the jigsaw and I were not getting along because it was cutting really slow and it was just taking forever. But part of the problem is that I'm used to using my tools and I couldn't just bring my tools all the way to New York, so I had to work with what I had.
How confident are we feeling?
I would say about 80%. Maybe I should have more faith in myself.
You have one job. That's it. One job. And you pulled it off.
All right, why are the knots?
I'm too tired.
To get to the other side.
Okay, what was your question?
Why are the knots green?
Because they're pressure treated, so I'm assuming that's what gives it a tint. This is me doing an educated guess. Pretty sure that's what it is. Good?
Good as it's gonna get.
All right.
Let's call it a day.
For only being such a short day, we got quite a bit done, especially considering that we were working on only a couple hours of sleep. But before I even left for New York, we had a lot of planning to do, and since we were going to be in such a tight timeline, I used Milanote to do all the planning. Milanote is a tool for organizing your creative projects, and I used it to plan this deck project. It's perfect for a visual thinker like me because it allows me to organize my ideas in a way that makes sense. Milanote is like the inside of my brain. Like you can tell by looking at my main board that I've been using Milanote for a long time. I use it to plan all my makeovers and I use several subboards to organize my inspiration. This is the board for the deck project and I found some pictures online that will help me see the overall vision of the project. It's really easy to arrange because you can just drag and drop everything. This over here is one of my favorite features because you can make a spreadsheet, and since budget is such an important part of this project, being able to see the budget on the same screen as my project board is a big plus. I also added a list of the materials that we needed to buy so I can check them off as we get them. I like that I can link the materials using the web clipper feature, which is an extension that adds to your web browser. And while you're shopping, you can easily add a picture of the product with the link to your board. Another cool feature is that you can invite a friend or a client to your board and you can collaborate in real time. In my case, I can share this with my dad, and since he was the one in charge of getting all of the materials all the way in New York, I could share this with him so that we can both collaborate in the planning process. If organizing your inspiration is something that you find challenging, Milanote makes it really easy because they have over 100 built-in templates available for every type of creative project. I also like using the Milanote app because anytime I see something that gives me inspiration, I can take a picture of it and upload it to my project. I can also be shopping around on my phone and just quickly add it into my board. And the good news is that Milanote is available for free with no time limit, so you can sign up by clicking on the link in the description below so that you can start working on your next creative project. Thank you Milanote for sponsoring this video.
So yesterday, we only worked a couple hours. We got this section pulled. We started on the edges. Today, the plan is to rip up the rest of this section here and to get all of the edges done, to get all of the trim pieces done, and to actually start laying plank.
On the second day, my dad's friend Anthony came to help. So now it was time for me to do the second edge, but I was trying to figure out if I could use the old board that was removed as a template.
You know you're supposed to cut a new one before you put it back on.
Now that I figured out how the template fits together, I was ready to start cutting the next edge, but the template was full of nails and so out of shape that it wasn't really helpful, so I went back to my cardboard template. On the template I did yesterday. Makes it easier. There you go. Ooh, perfect. Look at that. That's what I want. I'm gonna do that.
While you're working on this one cut, they're already halfway done pulling that up.
Nice. I just want to give credit to the camera person. We got Tony over there in the pink hat. Very dedicated to getting a good shot.
My ass got stuck.
These guys looks like they're almost done, and I'm still working on this because measuring and trying to figure all this out this takes me longer than anything. Meanwhile, the guys were fighting with the saddest wheelbarrow I've ever seen.
Now the camera's good.
Nails here, if I try to pull them out, the head snaps off. And then when I try to bang them in, the nails bend. So I gotta cut them off.
My dad was removing all the nails with a saw, Anthony was still doing demo, and I was still working on this edge and checking the boards underneath to make sure that they weren't rotten.
So Tiffany, does it fit?
It does, but it has a little bit of a gap that bothers me, so I think I'm gonna recut it.
This is why we don't get anything done.
Well, come here, tell me if it bothers you. If it doesn't bother you, I'll leave it.
It's good from the bridge.
Where?
It's right there. So see, so even it's a little bit.
See up there?
Yeah.
El avión cubre todo. So, leave it.
Okay. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna cut this a little bit shorter just so I have more meat here.
Joey, can you shut up for a minute?
and do this little cut over here. Okay, I'm done. Keep going.
Please.
We started finding some small boards that were rotten, so we needed to start replacing them.
Oh, that's a 2x6.
Yeah.
To put two 1x6. One here, one here.
Okay.
Okay? Problem solved.
Just like the first edge I did, this one also kicked my butt, but I finally got it done. Oh yeah, that should work.
It is 11:45, Tiffany.
And she's got nothing done. She's still working on the same damn notch.
How do you really feel, Joey?
She's doing a great job.
I do a good job, I'm just not very fast.
Do you think you're going to be able to finish the rest of the deck?
I'm worried about the...
We can't get the edge done. How are we gonna do the rest of the deck?
Oh, the tedious cuts. I'm worried about the tedious cuts. They are taking a long time, so I'm starting to get worried.
Here I come.
Nice.
English. English.
If I wanted you to understand, I would have said it in English. Listen to me. A 16th off of
Oh, that's right.
She's giving you a compliment, so.
off of 3/8. Yes, I am. And they are very few and far between.
So 16th.
Yes.
Could you pass me the broom, please?
The broom?
Yeah.
Why?
I want to sweep.
Sweep what?
I want to sweep the ground. I want to sweep sweep off the wood. So the plank isn't sitting on dust.
Whatever.
It's right there.
What you measuring now, dear?
So I need to make spacers because this is not like this is not level. So see how there's like a wood here? This is spacer so that way the whole surface is level. While the boys continued to do the trim pieces in the back, I was cutting small pieces of wood to use as spacers so that when we start laying the planks, everything would be level. This was tedious and time consuming, so I was worrying about the time that it was taking, but we had to do the trim pieces and level the surface first because once we start laying the chevron pattern, it busts up to the edges and it needed to be leveled.
What happened?
So I took this thing, just wanted to put a little bit in here so I can kind of slide it into the apron, and the whole thing turned over. You know, it's so okay now.
While my dad was cleaning up his mess, I continued to level the surface so that they can start laying the planks. We also made our own shims using the miter saw. It's all leveled, so now we can work this way. Ow. We put in the first trim piece that goes in between the pattern, and finally after that, we were able to start laying planks. We used 2.5 screws throughout the deck, but some areas require longer screws, so we used 4-inch instead.
Start of the pattern.
Yeah, I just put a hole. We use the 1/8 space, so I just put a hole in this way we don't have to keep on looking what the size is.
I'm cutting the spacer for that straight trim piece that goes in between the herringbone pattern because the 8-foot straight pieces are not as tall as the deck boards. So we're just cutting like a spacer to make them tall enough. The trim pieces being a different height than the deck boards became a project to try to level them, and it was overall a bad idea, but I didn't find a better solution until later on. I measured the distance from one trim to another to make sure that they would be equal distance along the trim so that when they lay the planks, they are the same size and hopefully they look even. I was also getting annoyed at the tape measure that I was using because it was very flimsy. Oh my god. Do you have a better tape measure than this?
What?
Do you have a better tape measure than this?
You're kidding me, right?
No.
Okay, I gave you a good one. I understand it's in Florida, but I gave you that one and you gave me this one, and this was the one we built 3 houses on. But now you're this big YouTuber and it's no longer good enough for you. Get out of here.
A bit of history between my dad and me. A few years ago, we partnered to renovate a few houses that were in extreme disrepair, and while we hire out some of the work, we decided to do the cosmetic work ourselves. It was a shared dream to bring these houses back to life, and my dad would frequently come to Florida and we would work together for very long days. Through this experience, we realized that we really enjoy working together, and it became a great way for us to bond. So now every time we have a big project, we're happy to help each other out.
I'm sorry, Anthony. I didn't know any of this was part of the deal.
You're right, not a problem. Tiff, nice job on the board. A really, really nice job. It's coming along.
Thank you. And I appreciate you being here. You've been a great help, so I appreciate it.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
And you'll be here tomorrow.
You're doing a good job cutting.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, ice cream. Anybody want ice cream? Anybody want ice cream?
You're really getting ice cream?
Yeah.
I'm getting ice cream. Are you kidding me?
Yes. Vanilla chocolate.
Chocolate, always chocolate.
Way to go. Don't want to get ice cream now. Need ice cream for you.
It's ice cream time.
Chocolate. Oh my god, can he even see you?
Thank you.
Hold on, please.
He's thinking. You can see the smoke coming out of his brain.
Hey, don't get what in your ice
I'm bored in my ice cream. Tastes a little woody.
Way the deck was.
This herringbone pattern is very tedious, and it's I feel like if we would have done a straight pattern, it would have gone a lot quicker. But this is kicking all of our asses. As we were getting closer to the end of the day, we were trying to get as much as possible done, because even though we made progress at this pace, we were not going to get this done by the end of the week.
How are you feeling mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually?
Tired. Just tired. Today's like the first full day we worked, and I am worried that we only got 2 roads done. 2. So I'm I'm very worried actually. I don't know, like we gotta finish this before I leave, and I just don't know if we're gonna make it. Alright, so what's the plan for today?
The plan for today is this whole side covered.
All of it?
That's it. All of it.
Okay. No matter how late we work?
No matter how late we work.
Okay, peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
In order to have a shot at completing this deck on time, we made templates to make the cuts faster. A lot of the planks were the same size, so this worked for the most part. We barely gotten started when we realized that the boards were not coming out even, they were unleveled, and the pattern was off. We had to take out some of the boards we already put in yesterday to try to fix the problem, which was not a great start because now we're working backwards. But while the guys looked for a solution, I did my best to keep the project moving forward by working on the trim pieces, but I was really starting to feel the stress, and I even had Tony helping me. The boys were still struggling to get the boards flush and their patience was wearing thin. And then Anthony suggested getting an electric hand planer to try to level the beams so that the boards would be leveled.
I just don't want to. Come on.
Yo, I took a napkin
Those
one time.
are
in metal.
they're cheap. They're thin.
It was metal. So, you know, I went like this, like playing around. He's like, go ahead. Yeah. Bow! He didn't even flinch.
What?
Because it's cheap.
What's your head made out of?
Cheap thin metal.
Steel.
Okay, I'm gonna write on the bottom.
They're like little kids, I'm telling you.
I think what Joey's trying to say is you can be a little hard-headed, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna make this row 5.
All right,
Template 5.
look at you,
Well,
marking everything.
You
You
got
know
it.
what you're doing, man.
You got it.
I appreciate
you know what?
you being
How
here.
many times I didn't do it all this, and then
Oh,
you want to
yeah.
scratch your head? Oh no, I cut the wrong board.
Yeah. While my dad went to get the planer, Anthony and I kept working. My brother Richard also came to help.
What's that? I don't know. Oh shit. That shit works.
Told you.
It does. It's actually pretty amazing. I'm glad you got that one instead of the hand planer, because the hand one we would have been like. The electric planer only worked in certain parts because the beams were full of nails, so we couldn't use it everywhere, but it was convenient to have around.
What?
You want another battery? Good catch.
Thank you.
All right.
After I finished laying the trim pieces, I went to help lay the boards with Anthony, but the problem was that there was only one miter saw and my dad was doing all the cutting, so we were left kind of sitting around waiting for him to cut each piece, and it didn't seem like the most efficient way to do it. I was worried about the slow progress because at this pace, we were not going to finish this project by the end of the week.
Yeah, we need more spaces. Making good progress. Slow but good.
I got down here because I think I'd rather be standing up. It was almost 11 a.m. and we still had a long way to go. Perfect.
Long street, buddy.
Perfecto.
Like you, baby. Perfect.
Oh, thank you. Once we figured out what we were doing and we got the trick of how to lay the boards, this job started to move a lot faster.
I'm excited. We're gonna close this one too.
One and a half rayitas?
That means, what we mean by that is like a blade, the thickness of a blade. What rayita actually means line, but what we mean is like shave it off by the thickness of the blade. When I say 1.5, it's like a, 1.5 blade thickness. So, pearl talk over here.
Summertime.
God loves me.
No,
No.
not that much.
God hates me.
You got it right that time?
Yep.
Are you doing it correctly?
I hope so. Making sure I didn't lose the spacer. I think I did.
Almost. Yep. Keep going.
I'm gonna get it. Wait. Hi. How's it going?
How's it going with you?
Not very good. We pre-drill holes on every edge of each board before drilling screws to prevent the board from splitting.
How are things going?
I think good so far. I think we're making decent progress. We might finish this side.
Nobody's going home till this side is
What
done.
are you out of you, bird?
Okay,
Got it.
I guess we are finishing this side today.
Wood update. Tiffany's in line for the saw again.
Nice if we had another saw.
At this point, I was working on my own little section, cutting the smaller boards, while Anthony and my dad were laying the longer boards on the other side. We're gonna have to glue that one.
It's pretty cute.
It is pretty cute. Remember the trim pieces not being the same height as the deck boards? Well, I didn't want to keep leveling all the trim pieces, so I decided to rip the deck boards and turn them into the trim pieces.
Wood update. We're now into the second set of the 3 pallet thingies.
My father taught me well. I taught Tiffany well. Tiffany took it to another level.
Wasn't your
on her
father
own.
like he did like stained glass windows or some shit?
By hand.
Are you serious? With no
yeah.
gloves?
My father had the worst hands I've ever seen because of that.
They were having a hard time lining up the boards, so Anthony took the circular saw and did a straight cut across to straighten them. This is shooting nothing but sawdust at me.
Oh, there's your problem right there.
Oh yeah.
It does look like it's clogged. Yeah, it's clogged.
Where's that blower?
It needs a colonoscopy. Okay, here's Tiffany with the really good idea.
I'm holding my breath, by the way.
So am I.
Yes, I know. I should wear a mask, but we don't have them right now.
Colonoscopy complete.
You ever feel like you've fallen into a hole you can't quite crawl out of?
See?
Pencil? Here. Don't be laughing at me.
I know.
She's laughing at me.
Me never.
You laughing at me. Ah, coño. It's getting towards the end of the night. It's around 7 o'clock. And we were supposed to finish all this, and we actually got quite a bit to go. It doesn't look like a lot, but it's like the pieces that take the longest to cut because we have to measure each individual one. So, anyways, I don't know if we're gonna finish this tonight, and I was really, really hoping that we would. So I'm still worried about that timeline. I don't know if we're gonna finish this before I leave. With being so late in the day, we were running out of time to finish this entire side like we planned. We were working as fast as we could to try to finish it because not doing so meant that we would be running behind, so the clock was ticking. But despite all of our efforts, unfortunately, we were not able to finish this section of the deck. So we only have 5 days to finish, and I'm not sure that we can make it. On the next video, we continue this massive job while running into some new challenges.
We're changing the pattern.
Are you okay?
I'm just taking a quick nap. We're gonna run out of wood. I'm really proud how it's coming out so far, and I really hope that I can finish this for my dad. Wish us luck, and see you on the next video.